We're going to get started. It's 4:31. This is the Fitchburg Cultural Council's monthly meeting. The Fitchburg Cultural Council is part of the city of Fitchburg, and we're part of the Massachusetts Cultural Council. And our purpose is to help elevate the life here in the state of Massachusetts, improving education, promoting diversity, encouraging excellence in the arts and the humanities. So we welcome everybody. We're starting the meeting today at 4:31 p.m. It's Tuesday, May 18th. This meeting is being recorded. It's open to the public. We welcome the public. Do we have any of the public with us today?
I see Pamela here from the Forge Theater Lab.
Wonderful. Welcome, Pamela.
Hi, Derek.
Hello.
Good to see you all. So thank everybody for coming today, and thank you for your volunteer work, which is what we're doing here. So we're going to jump right into the agenda for tonight. Pamela, maybe since you're a guest, we will jump down to Pamela's section of the meeting, which is the grantee modifications, I believe. Pamela, would you like to speak? You're on mute. And we are being filmed and perfect. We are being filmed and recorded. Just keep that in mind.
All right. Thank you for taking me first. So I don't know if you all got a chance to read it, but just to summarize is the show Past Tense that you gave us funding for is going to need to go online because Fitchburg State University is not going to have any online things for this summer, and we really respect that. It also, some of our actors and directors were getting a little nervous as the time was coming nearer. So what we're doing is we've added a sixth play to this, and there's one play that will be filmed by a professional film company in a black box. They're comfortable being together. The other ones will be filmed differently. Once people sign up to watch it or just come to watch it, they don't have to sign up. They just come, and it'll be 24/7 once it opens, and it'll be run for, I think it's like 5 days. And the thing that's, I think, really cool is that there will be the link that will take you to the show, but then there will be a link to each of the different plays. So you can come in and out and watch them at your convenience, as opposed to when you would have come to a live show, which we can't wait until people do that. But this was kind of a nice added thing, I think the artistic director and the directors came up with to do. The budget is a little bit less. Still not covered from your grant. So if you see it in your hearts to let us keep that same amount, that will help us because our revenues from tickets will be down. It's going to be a pay what you can, so that we can, it used to, when we did a lot of the online things during COVID, it was donation. But now we thought if we say pay what you can, we might get more. Because one time we got $60, another time we got $100. So anyway, that's it. If you have any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for Pamela?
Do you want me to pull up her grant modification form so that we can look at it? And if you have any questions, we can ask her.
Does anyone want to see the modification form?
I think it sounds like a good plan. I don't have to see the modification forms. Basically, you're adding an extra play. You're going online. It offers an opportunity to make some money for you. And also you'd like, if we have the heart to do it, to keep the extra money that's left over because it's going to be a less to do. So I think it's, I guess I would, resolve that we should approve of that.
So Eileen, would you like to make that motion?
Yeah, I just did so clumsily, but I'd like to resolve that we follow Pamela's plan and approve the 6 plays in a virtual fashion, and that if there's any money that comes out of that extra, that she be allowed to keep it for her group.
Would anyone like to second the motion? Or anyone like to speak to the motion?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Jim. Joe, could you do roll call for us?
Oh, I just want to say,
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Ahead,
on the grant modification form, she provided a budget revision. The previous budget was for 2,600 and the revised budget is 1,900. So is the proposal to let her keep the remaining of what is not used from 2,600 or to the remaining of 1,900?
Eileen just
So-
proposed. Go ahead.
Oh,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I was
Okay.
just gonna say, our grant amount is 1,762. So
Oh,
we'll
right.
cover all of it. There won't be anything left over, but I just didn't
Oh,
want you to
okay.
reduce it if we could have the whole amount.
Well, can I amend that, though? I would like to resolve that we approve the modification, so there'll be 6 plays instead of 5, and at the same amount.
And we had a second from Jim. Joe, would you mind doing roll call? Is there anyone else with comments or notes? Love to ask Joe to help.
Okay, before I do the roll call, we do have a quorum tonight, right?
Yes,
Okay, perfect. Tamar, you're first.
yes, my vote is yes.
Okay, Audrey,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes,
Derek,
Yep. Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Okay, it passes unanimously.
Well, thank you all so much. I do have to add a little kind of funny thing. I almost reached for a mask coming to this meeting and then I realized it was on Zoom.
I
Anyway,
have,
thank you.
could I
Yeah.
just say something though? As the treasurer, I'm looking at the record and the title of that grant was past tense for $1,762. You have yet to request those funds, so I would recommend that you go ahead and file the appropriate paperwork.
Okay, isn't it a reimbursement though? Don't we pay first?
No,
Oh, okay.
community and council does it up front, so you can
Okay.
We pay
submit your
first.
request for funding to the mayor's office at any time.
Okay, great. Thank
do
you.
you have your
Thanks for
form
that,
for
Jill.
that? Do
I
you have your form
don't.
for that? I could, okay, I'll send it to you.
Thanks,
Okay.
Eileen. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Pamela. You're welcome to
Thank
stay.
you. Oh, I think I'll go. Not that I would
That's
like
why
to,
we
but
took you
thank
first.
all.
Good
Thank
luck.
you all so
Bye.
much.
Good luck,
Thanks so
yeah.
much. Bye now.
Bye, have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you. So then we're going to move back to the top of the agenda, which is our open positions. So Scene had stepped down, just to reiterate past information. Scene has stepped down as secretary. So we need to fill the role of secretary, which Matt has been doing currently. So I'd like to take a motion to make that official. Would anyone like to make a motion to put Matt in the seat as secretary?
I'll move that. I think Matt's been a great secretary so far, and if he wants to keep it up, more power to him.
Oh, the stipend makes it worth it, Eileen. So yes.
I'll second that.
Joe, can we go through
I'll
the,
second the motion.
thank you so much, Jim.
Was there anyone speaking to the motion? Okay. Tamar,
Yes,
Audrey,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes,
Eileen,
Yes,
Derek,
Yes.
and Matt.
Yes. And for the record, there is no stipend. I'm just being a wise guy. So
Yeah.
I don't want that misinformation
That's
going out
right.
there in the world.
Thank you,
you.
Matt. It's a hard sought after position. So, and that's
Yes,
means trying to
indeed.
find somebody to take it. So
I
I
just-
really appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, well, and I'm proud of the civility demonstrated by my peers and not making this ugly. This was nice.
Thank you all very much. We also had Casey step down from the role of PR chair of the PR subcommittee. I would like to take, I think something that we could consider is having Audrey chair that subcommittee. I'd like to put that open out for a discussion and see if that might be something what everyone thinks of that idea.
that's a lot on Audrey. What do you think of that idea? You do a lot.
I told Tamar that I was interested in running for PR chair, since
Are
I'm
you
doing-
chair or
I'm doing a lot
co-chair?
of it already, and then I don't have to have as much like overhead of, is this okay? And blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
I can just
Yeah.
be the one to say, go for it. This is what we're doing, and set the agenda.
Will you be chair or co-chair?
Chair.
Chair, okay, because I saw someone else's name there.
We had talked about having Claudia, but then,
Claudia, yeah.
yeah.
But
So
that's
any other
not,
thoughts?
I was thinking I'd get into it. I did public relations most of my career before I was a journalist. So, I would think co-chair, if Audrey was willing to work with me, because I have a lot of skills, but Audrey has a lot of skills I don't have either. So,
I mean, I'm mostly the social media events person, but I'm not super comfortable being the spokesperson. And so if you want to fulfill more of that kind of role, I would love
I can do that. The other thing I'm thinking about is that I'd like to add a lot of direction. I see some of the things coming out, and I have some ideas about getting us more publicity. And so working with the committee, I think that would be interesting.
I think it would be great. And before we do that, then maybe we'll get to the big one, which is Jim is resigning from his seat the end of June. Thank you so much for all your years here, Jim.
You're welcome.
Oh,
So,
no.
yes,
Oh,
Sorry.
no.
yes.
That clap was a thank you for all that you've done, Jim.
Oh,
Not
thank you.
because I'm overjoyed that you're leaving the
Yeah,
role. 'Cause
and
you
it's
really
not-
did a job with it.
No, thank you, Joe. It's not right away. I'll be around for another month or so. And it just came a time in my life that I just felt it was the right time for me to step down, and wish all the best to the council. And I'll do everything I can during this interim for a nice, smooth transition.
So there you
Thank
go,
you.
guys. I said, what did I do? What did I say, Jim?
Well, what's it?
No,
It's
it's
been,
just the right time.
it's been 6 years, hasn't it, Jim?
5, yeah.
5. Okay. Yeah, that's a,
We've appreciated your work on the council so
Thank
much,
you.
Jim.
Thank you.
yes.
Definitely.
I'll be around.
Oh, and Jim can certainly speak from experience. Derek, if you're interested in becoming treasurer right out of the gate, it is a trial by fire, but you actually have someone who's done it in Jim, and he's willing to stick around to help you out. So don't be afraid to volunteer to help with the treasurer role. It's really not as complicated as it might sound.
No, it's not.
Mhm.
It's a good opportunity to interface with the mayor's office and with our grants.
I should let you know that we're going to be sending out letters to, there are, well, my part's coming up later in this, but I had this thought that if we canvassed some of the accounting firms and some of the colleges, that we might get accounting students, or, young accountants, or maybe just guys who are accountants who want to have an interesting sideline. So the idea would be that we would get somebody with a practical knowledge, and we might pair them up with someone else, who maybe, isn't that. But if it's not your cup of tea, I certainly understand. But I was just telling you that that's one of the things we're thinking about. And I sort of think it would work.
I can't say yes yet, but maybe I can review some of the materials if it's okay with you, Jim, and kind of see what it entails.
Absolutely.
Quite a bit going on right now, but if it's something I can do, it's that I'd be happy to help out. But
Great.
I can't say yes yet.
If you could get Tamar, I guess through you, if I could get Derek's contact information at some point,
Yes,
so we could get together and go over some things to see how we can move on.
yes.
Sure.
Yeah, we should-
There's also a job description there that Derek might want to look at.
okay.
Okay. And my email should be right there in the thread for the
It was.
cultural councils as well. So you can probably just grab it out of the
Okay,
thread.
all right,
Yeah, it was in yesterday's email to everybody.
okay.
But I can make that introduction through another email as well, just so you have it, Jim.
Yep.
Okay, so that's where we're at, everybody. So if anybody has any motions they'd like to make about the PR committee, we could do that now, or we can move on to the next agenda item. We're gonna leave it open till next time. Any thoughts?
Do we need to nominate people formally for the subcommittee roles? Because I would
Yes.
make a motion to nominate Audrey and Eileen as co-chairs of the publicity subcommittee.
I'll second.
Very good. Anyone speaking to the motion before we take a roll call vote?
I'd like to, Claudia hasn't formally stepped down as co-chair, but she has not expressed interest to step up to chair. Would that make the PR subcommittee having 2 co-chairs?
It would in this case. But we could vote to change that at the next meeting.
Mhm.
There's no problem having multiple co-chairs.
That's great.
That sounds
Okay,
good to
so
me.
we have a first from Matt and a second from Derek for Audrey and Eileen to co-chair. And that would leave Claudia there as well. Does anyone have any other comments? Can we do a vote now? Okay,
Tamar,
yes.
Audrey,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes,
Derek,
Yes.
and Matt.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations, ladies.
when working together. Audrey.
So the next thing we have is grantee updates and modifications. We already took care of that. I don't think we have anything else that we need.
Yes,
to
I have
Wait,
one from
okay.
last meeting. Do you want me to go ahead?
Yes,
that one?
please.
Last year, we awarded a grant to the Stratton Players for $950 for a stand-up comedy workshop, which they held before COVID, sometime in early February. Their only expenses at the time out of the $950 was for $240 to pay the comedian. They are now requesting the balance of $710 to be utilized for a production in the fall of Charlotte's Web to be done by the Stratton Players. And at the time, the request was that if COVID is not something that opens things up more, they would do it in the spring. But likely, as things are developing, it would probably be more in the fall of this year. So the request is to have them utilize that money. The money stays in the community, stays with Stratton, and so they can put on a production of Charlotte's Web. And this request comes by way of Stratton through Sally Cragen.
So Jim, I have a question. We generally support the Stratton Players and the performances that they do.
Oh, yeah.
Is this a new performance for them? One that they haven't asked us to support already? And we funded it?
Charlotte's Web, I don't think so.
Okay.
It was one that they were going to use for their spring production, but given COVID, they realized that they couldn't and put it out there till next fall.
Any
So
thoughts on that?
I'd just like to, I'd recommend that we allow them to do that. Again, it keeps the money in the community.
I
Okay.
second it.
So Jim, is that you making a motion?
Yes, I make a motion that we grant this request from Stratton to utilize their $710 out of the original grant for a production of Charlotte's Web.
I second it.
Anyone else speaking to the motion? All right, let's have a vote.
Hey, Tamar,
Yes.
Audrey,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes,
Derek,
Yes.
and Matt.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Are there any other modifications that have come in anywhere that? Okay. All right, we're gonna move on to the grantee reception. So things are changing very fast in the COVID landscape. We had spoken in the PR subcommittee with Jesse at the museum due to the fact this came from Eileen as a suggestion that we had too many grantees plus one, plus us, plus the city to fit into the quantity of people that are allowed. Jesse is also very overwhelmed. There's a lot happening at the museum and they're testing out, the rollout of being open, the new structure. So it was decided at the PR subcommittee that it would be best for the museum for our grantees and for everyone to move the meeting, the grantee reception later in the summer. The Fitchburg Art Museum gave us the date of August 13th. It's a Friday evening to have the grantee reception at the museum. So I need to ask everyone to let me know your thoughts on this, and we can make a decision as a group if that makes sense for everyone. So what we would be doing is combining the grantee reception with the input meeting at once on the 13th of August.
I was thinking, as I think I wrote to you guys, that it would be better to have it closer to the FOS. Not because we'd be signing up any more artists or anything like that. By that time, the FOS ought to be in better shape. That's the Fitchburg Open Studios, Derek, which we're kind of targeting to be one of our big programs, more than kind of targeting it. So the idea being that it might be the night before the opening of the event. It might be a week before the opening of the event, but sometime closer, so that we'd raise visibility for the event and more people would come to it.
Well, we were thinking of combining it with the input meeting, and we have to have that done before the new grant cycle starts on September 1st. So the idea was, if we do the 13th and we do input grantee at the same time, we'll have our next meeting is the next week. So we would have time to get the information, get it all of us organized and read it, vote on it on the next council meeting, so that we're ready for the next cycle, which starts the 1st of September. Fitchburg Open
see.
Studios isn't until the end of September. So,
Okay.
Yeah, we utilize the grantee reception as a public input meeting in and of itself, and the input is coming from the actual artists and grantees and folks that participate in our grant programs. And we try to have those during our grant cycle, before the next grant cycle begins. And I actually think that the timing of it is pretty good, because it's about 4 to 6 weeks before the actual Open Studios events, and it can be a primer and an early teaser about what's happening, and we can get the word out a little earlier and give it more time to spread around the grantee community. And yeah,
Well,
overall, I think it's pretty good.
I'm not quite there. I'll let it go whatever you want to do, but I'm just thinking about the fact that we ought to have something to highlight it closer to when it happens, because it's kind of a short time span where people remember things. And what's that? It's over 4 weeks. It'll be 6 weeks. There's hardly any relationship. So I'm just going to think about it.
There's we have the creative meet and greet scheduled for July, which I don't think is going to be a likely proposal. So that is something that I think would make more sense to be closer to Fitchburg Open Studios, because it's a networking event for artists.
Yeah, it's a larger group.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
So the
so would
grantee
that be
reception
something we
is,
wanna move?
sorry?
So would that be something that we might want to move to, say, the weekend of, like the night before?
Perhaps.
I think it would be fun to have something the night before, because then people would be in the throes. Well, they'd have to be able to come in on Friday and set the thing up, but they'd have a lot of it up. It would be pretty festive. You could come and look at, if you were an artist and showing, you probably wouldn't get a chance to go and look at everything. So I think it would be great to do that. I think it's a great idea, Audrey.
Be like kind of a groundbreaking
Yeah,
ceremony in a way.
exactly.
Anyone
But yeah,
else?
so the grantee reception in the past has been combined with the annual public input meeting. And I was the one
I
that was
see.
like, oh, what if we had them as separate events, because that can be a thing. But that was before realizing that the pandemic would be still so relevant. And I started wondering, should we be adding more events this year, rather than either minimizing events or keeping the same amount? So I think that was a part of our thinking of just going back to the old way of combining it and not overwhelming ourselves.
Matt, Joe, Jim, any comments? Derek?
I support moving the creative meet and greet to closer to open studios, even the night before if possible. You know, it's really whether or not we have a venue available in order to accommodate that, but you know, I'm sure we can find something somewhere. There's a lot of public space available for us to use, especially if the weather's nice.
Okay,
Yeah, I agree. And I also agree with the grantee reception and the input session being at the same time.
okay,
Yep, I
Derek?
think combining them is right for this year. In future years, this was something we haven't been able to do historically, but I thought last year was going to be the year we could separate them and try to get them done sometime between April and July, so that we just almost always have something going on as a cultural council for the community.
Mhm. Well, good.
all right, so let's decide if we can today. I think that's a good, that way we have time to plan. So we are deciding to move the grantee and input meeting all into one, which is the 13th. The museum's given us as a date, Friday, August 13th. And then moving our creatives meet and greet to the weekend or the night before Fitchburg Open Studios in September.
September 25th. All right, well, I'll motion that we put the Audrey, but the names of these events are.
We make a motion to move the grantee reception to the annual input meeting, and both of them to take place on Friday, April 13th, as well as
August.
the
August 13th.
August.
August 13th, as well as the creative meet and greet
September
on
25th,
Friday, September 24th.
24th.
24th. Well, I second it.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table to move the grantee and input meeting to the 13th of August and to move the creative meet and greet to September 24th. And we have a second from Eileen. Anybody else speaking to the motion?
I will definitely vote yes, but if we're gonna just link Friday the 13th, I think we should probably theme that thing for the grantee reception and the artist input. It's a pretty good opportunity to do
Good
something
idea. Good idea.
something of that in that respect.
Good idea.
Like,
Okay, Joe, could you?
No motion needed for that, but just
Oh.
just a thought.
Mm.
I think Derek's going to fit in just fine. Go ahead, Tamar, your vote.
Yes,
Audrey,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Derek,
Yes.
and Matt.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Dates removed.
okay, we're moving to Fitchburg Open Studios next. I just want to give you a quick update. We have 2 artists signed up officially. We have 2 galleries signed up officially. We have Activate Mill Street, we're able to utilize. And we have the Fitchburg Open Studios. Eileen, you're listed on the website as the church's contact for anyone who wants to pop up at one of the
Okay.
churches. And then the museum is listed, Jesse's listed, and Activate Mill Street is coming to us. If anybody would like to pop up there, we have been given the rights to pop up there. So that's my only update for today. If anybody has any questions, let me know. Sounds like it's going to happen, so I'm happy about that.
I have an update for the group. I did make contact with 2 of the 3 music studios that I know of that exist in Fitchburg. And I have one that's definitely committing to do it. They haven't submitted their application, but they'll be opening up their studio and presenting. I don't know how many artists that they host there, but there'll be a good number of musicians there. And I think they're trying to do a themed approach to the event, which I'm hoping is going to be pretty exciting. And they also seem to be interested in perhaps filling a time slot on the stage at Mill Street. So
Wow.
yeah.
Right.
So that was one studio. So the other 2 I'm still working with, and we'll see what we can do.
Great news.
Yeah.
My
Um,
moderator at Rollstone Church says, we're gonna do it, but he hasn't gotten it. He hasn't had the opportunity to take it to our decision makers. So I think that's gonna happen this week. I will keep hitting at him.
Thank you, Eileen.
Mm.
Audrey?
I would like to, so the, on the application, it says the early deadline is June 1st and the actual deadline is June 15th. And I'm afraid that I feel like we haven't promoted it enough. I would like to make a motion to extend either one or both deadlines. But part of that is also all the work that goes into it. I'm sure, Tamar, you chose that date purposely to give enough time.
So, like if, for example, we're doing grant and input meeting together, the 13th, we absolutely need to have our brochures and any printed materials at that meeting. And we need to get them to the artists and anyone who's participating so that they can share in the marketing piece. So usually you need like 7 to 10 days with a printer. I don't know, Matt, you might can give us guidelines on that since Fitchburg State will be printing them.
Yeah,
So from that date, if we just took that as a date to back out from, like we need them that night, but we should probably back out a week and then back out a week before that just for printing time. And I don't know the schedule at Fitchburg State, like how much room they have for us. And the deadline is flexible in a way, Audrey, in a way, but we need like at least a couple weeks to put it together, proof it, approve it now. So we would want to get it approved at the July meeting and then to the printer, printed in time for August. So we could flex a little bit, but not a lot. What do you think, Matt?
I shouldn't presume, but I would think July is a quieter time for printing these, and these aren't a hugely complicated job, so that should be okay. I think if we had a little bit of extra time, but I'm with you. I think, a week or two is really what we're talking about in terms of wiggle room.
Okay.
And I'd like to update just a little bit on the marketing of the Fitchburg Open Studios. There was an event, or not an event, an announcement by the Community of Fitchburg page that had gone out regarding that, and it had been shared regionally throughout all of central Massachusetts and all the local Facebook groups around Fitchburg, Winchendon and Ashby and Lunenburg and all of that. We've reached over 9,000 people with that, and we've gotten over 100. Right now, it says 137 clicks on our event. So I think the word is out there. It has only been 10 days, since it went out, but as we continue to promote it further, I think that we'll get what we need. And we also know historically that the applications for open studios tend to show up at the last minute. So I think extending the deadline might be premature, but we could maybe make a motion to set a threshold for how, if we don't reach an X number of applications by June 1st, that we'll extend it, and that we can vote to do that now, so that we can then just make that move should it become necessary.
That's interesting.
My purpose for asking to extend it is because we asked Casey to work on a flyer for Fitchburg Open Studios as a call for our artists, but our next PR subcommittee won't be until June 7th. So the early deadline will have already passed, and then it'll be like 8 days before the actual deadline. So
Anybody else?
we just have to do it.
I kind of don't mind the deadline. Artists usually wait till the last second. Like there will be things coming in right at the day or after the day, which generally I think we're going to be pretty lenient. If somebody wants to participate, we'll have them, as long as it hasn't, once it goes to print, you can't change it, right? But there's also the 4th of July holiday in the middle. I don't know. I don't really want to change it too much. That's just me. And I don't know. That's my feeling. I don't really want to move it too much. I mean, maybe moving it to the end of the month.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, otherwise it's kind of like, it's not something that we can talk as a council of, okay, how do we promote this more? It's kind of Audrey doing it, like, or, each of us individually, like sending it out to people and letting them know, as opposed to being able to delegate to one another and have more of a collective movement.
What's your sense, Tamar, of how the artists are coming along?
They always wait till the last minute. They do.
Yeah.
Like we had a open call that was open for like 4 months, and the last week we had like 15 people come in the last week. And that was our like Earth Day spring show. So I'm kind of used to it. But if we wait till the 30th, for example, I'm away, like closed, not around from the 1st to the 6th. So that puts us back. We would have like basically a week and a couple days to get it to the council so we can approve it. And then it needs to go right to press. It's a little crunched. It's a little tight.
Well, if we go with this, and we decide we have to put out something else later on, we can make that decision then, right? I mean, we'll go with the original deadline or the best we can do on it, or what you're talking about now. And if you have to do something more, we have to think about what we have to do. Who we
All
want
right.
to get,
So Joe, what was your idea again? We would make a vote, we would make a
My
decision.
idea was to set a threshold for a number of applications received on the early deadline.
Mhm.
So let's say if we don't have 15 applications in on June 1st, then we'll extend the early deadline to the 15th and the final deadline to the 30th.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
On the
I
plus side,
agree.
our next large meeting will be June 15th. So on that day, we'll already know how many we have and if we want to extend the deadline or not.
So I like the threshold idea. I think that's a good idea.
Mhm.
Tamar, would you be able to update the website with the deadlines posted, like either like directly on the homepage, or once they click apply now? There's like a 2-step process of apply now, and then there's like a page where you click again to open the application. But before that, can it say like, deadline is, early deadline is this
Yep.
day, deadline is this day, so that it's in their brains more.
Yeah, that's fine. I can do that. So let's get a motion on the table for, I like the Joe idea, that will have set a threshold of 15 artists, participating parties for June 1st. If we don't have them, we will move the deadline to the end of June, which is the 30th. So then the first threshold would be the 15th. The second threshold would be the last day of the month, right before July 4 weekend. Does that sound reasonable?
Mhm.
And Peter will let us know. He emails me every time he gets an application, so he'll definitely let us know. Anyone like to make that motion?
How about Joe?
He can't.
I'm not a voting member,
Oh.
unfortunately.
Oh, dear.
Any takers?
I'll do it. Motion to extend or to review on June 1st, the applications. And if we have fewer than 15, we extend the early registration deadline to June 15th with the late deadline of June 30th.
Perfect. Thank you.
Second,
Thank you, Jim. All right, let's do a roll call unless anyone wants to speak to it any further.
Okay, before I take the roll call, I want to speak to it. I just want to mention, just for the public's perspective, because they're hearing how we don't have a lot of people interested, but the fact is we actually have a ton of artists that are interested in being part of this, and the applications generally arrive late. And this is really our exercise in trying to gauge as to whether or not we have enough artists that are engaged to work with us. How many did we have the last season? It was over 30, wasn't it?
36.
Yeah, we had 36 artists participating, which is really great. And that was before the Cultural Council took over and we put our marketing arm behind it. And we're looking forward to a really successful, highly populated Fitchburg dance event this year. So kind of excited about it. So with that, unless anyone else is speaking to the motion, I'll take the roll call.
So to clarify, we are voting if there are less than 15 applications by the early deadline on June 1st, everything will be pushed 15 days.
Yes.
Correct. Yes.
So early deadline would change to June 15th and the total deadline would change to June 30th.
Yes.
Awesome.
So as a practical matter, then I can work on a press release announcing the extension if we need it, because we'd want to get that word out. So if we can, whoever the keeper of the count is, just let me know. But okay, thanks, Tamara. Yeah, so we just reach out to me, and if that works with everybody, we can help spread the word.
Perfect.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Tamar,
Yes.
Audrey,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Derek,
Yes.
and Matt.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Anything else for open studios? We're gonna move on if not. Okay. So I have up next the treasurer and grantee report. If any of either of you, Eileen or
Yeah.
Jim, have any notes?
Yes, I do. So our local funds are $1,645.95. Our Mass Cultural Council funds from FY20, the total is $7,841.92. That includes our administrative expenses for the year, which we haven't used yet, of $2,155. The encumbered funds for 3 grantees of $2,550. And our FY20 funds that rolled over and applied to the FY21 granting of $2,136. So that has pretty much stayed the same the last few months. From our allocation of $43,100 from the Mass Cultural Council, we have $27,540 has been expended for 28 grantees who've already submitted their requests for funds. And we have 15 grantees remaining for a balance of $15,560.
Jim, you have a better handle on this than I. How many outstanding grantees do we still have? That is, grantees who have not filled out their commitment papers. Obviously, we
15.
heard from one today.
Yeah,
15.
15.
Seems to be our big number, 15. That's a lot. Do
Yeah,
you think
I think
we should
COVID has a lot to do with this. People are waiting to see whether they're going to be able to follow through with their grant.
Do you think it would be worthwhile phoning some of them and seeing where they are?
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah,
Reach out.
I'm willing to do it. Unless you'd like to split the list with me.
No, I can send you a list of the ones that are outstanding.
Okay.
But, you know, I think as things now are getting more relaxed around COVID, I hopefully would see more grantees beginning to submit their requests for funds.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't mind calling them. I think that's
Sure.
probably a good thing to do to kind of keep in touch. Derek, I've been serving as co-treasurer. Mostly that's been in a support role, and Jim and I haven't even seen each other face to face since this partnership. So actually it'd be good if we could get together, Jim, if you have some time to do that, or,
Absolutely.
you know, I'd love to see your books and how you do this and all of that.
Mhm.
Not that I want the head job, but I don't mind doing the support work.
Maybe we should all do a training with Jim. Jim, we're coming
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
That probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
Not a
so
bad idea.
So we have
No,
a
I
better
think that would
grip
be a great
on,
idea to
Bring
have
your
Jim host a
calculator.
webinar for us.
maybe a party. We'll have a party, a goodbye party for Jim, and we'll start out with a really exciting seminar
Numbers.
on the numbers. But basically, we really should do something like that.
All right. So Eileen, so you are going to call the 15 remaining grantees and Jim's gonna work with you on that.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for doing that. Do you have anything else to report in this area? Otherwise, we're gonna move on.
I guess I want to talk a little bit about canvassing and recruiting a treasurer.
Yeah,
want
well,
to talk
we
about
can't do
that?
that now. Yeah, we can't do that now
Okay.
because
all
we
right.
only have 15 minutes left. So
Well, maybe we can have, okay, all right.
we definitely need one. But yeah, let's, because that would be our new membership discussion, which I don't know that anyone has somebody top of mind from the
Couldn't we
community.
talk about
Ah,
this during the new membership agenda item because it's talking about outreach for new membership?
I would like to get some guidance on it. I've written a couple letters, that, but I'd like to get some guidance on it. And I think there's no time like the present to start canvassing. So that's my thought.
Eileen, if you want, we could set up some time together, you and I, and go over what you're thinking of doing, and I give you some guidance.
I have Eileen's draft up here if we if we had the time to read what she wrote, and if we like what she wrote, we could start distributing them so that by the time Jim steps down, we'll be able to hopefully have some candidates.
Maybe I guess before we do that, I'd like to, as I say, I'd like some guidance on it. So maybe Joe and I could meet. How about you,
Yeah.
Audrey? Would you like could you put your oar in on this too? I'll do the
Sure.
work. I just want your point of view.
Yeah,
You know, we can put this on the agenda for the PR subcommittee meeting.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea. That's really part of that.
yeah, and just for context, if we were to recruit a member and make a recommendation to the mayor's office, the entire process can take 3 to 4 months. So it can take a while just to get through the process. And so I think that taking the approach that was just suggested is perfect.
Okay.
thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Audrey, when is the next PR meeting?
So we meet
First Monday of
the
the month.
first Monday at 4:30 p.m. On Zoom.
Okay, so it's June, Monday, 4:30.
Alright.
Okay, great. Who invites?
FATV does. I'll make sure to add you on there. Derek,
Okay.
would you be interested in joining the PR subcommittee meeting? It's sort of, sometimes we'll talk about the TV show as well.
Maybe a thought would be, Derek, that you could just, since you're new, it's probably good for you to sample some of these meetings. So, have a better idea of what you want to get involved in. So that's what I would suggest, maybe
Sure.
come to a meeting and see whether it's your kind of thing.
Sure, and I'm certainly interested in is that official now, FCC TV? I'm certainly interested in that as well, so it's probably par for the best.
Okay, so you'll be invited to the next meeting too.
That would be
Okay.
it would be a great place for you to help out, Derek, definitely.
Sounds good. It's,
Yeah. For
I
sure.
want to get to the next agenda item because we've missed it for many, many meetings. I'd like to get our minutes reviewed. Audrey, if you have them, you can share them. If not, I can share them. We have March, April, and February meeting minutes to approve. So I'd like to get that done tonight.
Are they all in the drive?
Um,
Because if they
That's a
are,
good question.
I can pull that up.
I can go ahead and share. It's just going to be faster.
They should be. The ones I did, I posted to the drive.
I don't
Oh,
have.
there was one I
Eileen's.
did. I don't know where that is.
And I can't share. So there you go.
You can't share it. Okay.
I will make you a post.
Let me know when. Thanks for your patience, everybody.
Oh, I
Got
think
it.
you did it.
Thank you. I just need to get these done because I've been sitting around a couple meetings now. So this is the subcommittee from March 1st. I had sent these all through email, so we can batch them all together if you had a chance to review them. If you need a second, let me know. Everyone ready?
Yep.
This was March 1st. This
I'd like
is
to
the-
recommend taking a vote for each.
Yes, okay, sorry. Very good. So this is for the PR subcommittee minutes from March 1st. Could I have a motion to accept these?
So
Motion to
moved.
accept.
Second,
That was Jim. Eileen seconded. Anyone speaking to the motion? All right, we'll roll call.
Okay, Tamar,
Yes.
Audrey,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes,
Derek,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
motion carries.
This is the PR subcommittee minutes from April 5th, so more recently. I'll take a motion whenever you guys are ready.
I motion that we accept.
Second.
Thank you, Eileen and Jim. Anyone speaking to the motion to accept the PR subcommittee minutes from April 5th? Okay,
Okay, Tamar,
yes.
Audrey,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes,
Derek,
Yes.
and Matt.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
This is the meeting minutes of our general meeting from March 16th. There you are, Derek. Take a motion whenever anyone's ready.
I move to accept the meetings of March 16th.
Second.
Thank you, Jim. Anyone speaking to the motion? We have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from March 16th. Okay,
Okay, Tamar,
yes.
Audrey,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes,
Derek. Derek, you're muted.
Yes.
And Matt,
Yes.
that motion carries.
Thank you. Now we have our meeting minutes from February 16th. We had guests that night. That was a nice night. Any motions?
I move to accept the minutes of February 16th.
Second.
Thank you, Eileen and Jem. Anyone speaking to the motion? Thank you.
Okay. My screen order just got all changed up, so going in a different order now. Audrey,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes,
Derek,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Tamar.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Just some housekeeping. We needed to get that out of the way. So we have 5 minutes left. Like to do a little quick debrief from the FATV, the FCC TV show that we filmed. It was really wonderful. I'm sure Audrey has a few notes. We had a great time. Matt was there. I was there. Casey was there. Jesse was one of our participants that we interviewed. And so was the Fitchburg Cultural Alliance. So Jennifer was there with Jesse, who's the new president. And then we talked about Fitchburg Open Studios. We had a great time. I think it was wonderful. Audrey, Matt, do you guys have any notes that you want to share with everyone?
I'll just concur that it was very productive. Everyone was well prepared and the filming went, I thought, extremely smoothly for a first time. It felt like a pretty well-oiled machine. And I know a couple of us are going down to FATV tomorrow to work on some editing, but I think it's going to be a really great footprint and a good tool for us to use moving forward.
And if Matt and I finish the episode tomorrow or soon enough, it's set to premiere, I think, May 26th. Was that did I just make that up? But very, very quickly. And the 3 dates that we voted, well, we didn't vote on, but we discussed, turns out all of those are available for us. So it will be airing on all of those on Wednesdays at 8 p.m., which is what they suggested that we promote, that the show airs Wednesdays at 8 p.m. But it will also be on Fridays at 7:30 a.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. So
Can you say those one more time slowly, Audrey? So Wednesday, 8 p.m.
Friday 7:30 a.m. and Sunday at 11 a.m. So I guess we're only going to do, our current plan is just to do one episode per month. So I guess I'll just repeat 3 times a week until we have a new episode.
So the next
Great.
episode would be something that the PR subcommittee would discuss on the next Monday of the month.
Yes, and we will have to discuss schedule because we had talked about doing it on the second Monday, but that does not work for FATV. They suggested the 4th Monday. We'll talk about it in person tomorrow, and I'll get back to those who are currently on the PR subcommittee, Derek, and if anyone else wants to be part of the crew. Joe, are you interested? I think you would be the last one. Unless Jim wants to
feel
join
free-
for the one for quick-
when you've ironed down the dates of interest, just send them to me, and absolutely 100% I'm in as long as I can fit it into my schedule.
Okay.
I love FATV.
Yeah, we love FATV too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They
What
did a great
time-
job teaching us. Go ahead, sorry, Derek.
What time will the 2 of you be headed there tomorrow? I'd love to come if that's all right.
It's only going to be Matt and I. I think we can only have a couple people to come down and edit. But yeah, if you want to take a tour with FATV, talk with Nate. And then, yeah, once we figure out when our regular filming schedule will be, that's when.
Sure, sounds good.
It's exciting. And Audrey did a nice logo for the FCC TV. And Casey picked some really nice music. I think you guys will love it. So when you see it, let us know what you think. I
And
think it
Casey
came out
did a
really well.
phenomenal job. So did Tamar and Jesse and Jennifer Jones. It was fantastic.
It really was.
Very, very good. A high bar for the first episode.
Mhm.
And that's a great way to end the evening. Does anyone have any other comments, questions about the FCC TV plan? Any other comments? Okay, we've covered our agenda. Thank you guys all so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. Thank everybody else who tuned in to the Fitchburg Cultural Council's monthly meeting. I'm gonna adjourn this meeting at 5:28 p.m. on Tuesday, May 18th. And I'd like to take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second,
Anyone speaking to the motion? Otherwise, do we need to roll call, Joe?
No, I think a show of hands is fine.
Thank you
All
guys for
right.
coming today.
Motion carries. Have a great night, everybody.